guys, this is Jennifer from the Shooter's Mindset, and we are live with episode 404. Got our co-host here. Greg, how's it going?
Pretty good. How about y'all?
Doing well, doing well. And our guest of the hour that everybody really wants to hear from is none other than the winner of the national championship at the NRL22, Jason Nedved. How's it going?
It is going well. How are you guys?
Doing well. Have you recovered from all the travel? Well, you didn't have as much travel as we did.
It was about 6 hours and we stayed Sunday night as well. So it was a lot less stress. It's not like, oh, hurry up, let's get on the road. So that was a lot better.
It
That
is
is
amazing when you have the couple times that I've done it where it's been like stay an extra night and have a whole day for travel. It's just so
Yeah,
much less stressful, so much more relaxed.
yeah,
like
definitely.
K&M being on Memorial Day. You
Hmm.
don't have to get back to work. So normally I feel guilty, like, oh, I don't want to take another PTO day. I got to get back. But on at that one, it's like, well, even if I get back, I won't go to work. So spending the night at K&M, that extra night is really nice. But anyway, well, Jason, for anybody that doesn't know you, I know you've been on the show before, so you're not new to us, but we do all the time have new viewers coming in and new shooters watching. So tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into shooting competitively.
Yeah, I'd love to. So my name's Jason Nedved. I started shooting competitively about 8 years ago. When I first started shooting competitively, I never shot a rifle over 200 yards accurately by any means. I didn't grow up shooting other than once a year, just shooting with dad, going hunting, couple what antelope hunting and deer hunting was all. And that was dad would sight in the rifle and then I would just show up and shoot basically. So it's been quite an adventure in these past 8 years because if you would have told me 9 years I would own what I own now and I am where I am, I would have never believed you. So that's been really good. Very thankful for that every day, and it's going well, and I'm enjoying it very much.
That's awesome. So you kind of alluded a little bit to it, but you actually have a business. So tell us a little bit about it and how it got its start.
So that can be a long story, but basically, once I started taking some classes, training classes, I was getting better and better, and a lot of people are reaching out to me asking what I use, where's a what good place to get it, and what is a good price. And then I got sent home from work during COVID, even though I never got COVID apparently. I got sent home because a lot of other managers were getting COVID, so they just said everybody go home for a couple weeks, and that ended up being 3 weeks, and I went absolutely nuts. But during that time, I was still helping people get gear, and then I asked my wife, I'm like, hey, what would it take for us to be able to sell them this gear? And she's like, well, just reach out to the companies, find out. And so I started reaching out to the companies, and some of them were absolutely amazing, saying, hey, we're not picking up any new dealers right now, but we recognize the name, and yeah, here's the list and everything, and everything we needed. So we set up an LLC and started Nedved Precision Shooting. Started a little website, and last time I talked to you guys, it was very, very new. Inventory was very, very low because we'd have one order a week. You got to start somewhere. And now we'll have days without any orders, and then we have other days that it's like, oh my gosh, we could make it. you know so it's been really good. Inventory is very high compared to where we started, looking at those numbers, but very thankful, like I said. And the name of the game is just trying to get our name out there, so the next time anybody needs gear, hopefully they check out our website and reach out, and we can get it shipped out to them. Typically, we try to get it shipped out within 24 hours unless we're at a match. But like as long as you get the order in before 7 a.m., that's when I'm packaging stuff up. You'll get it out that same day.
I tell you, it's crazy when we look back. I think we met you 2 years ago. It's been two or three. Oh, when were the
Yeah.
Vortex matches? I don't remember, but
Oh yeah, yeah. Yep.
we met you at one of those in Missouri, and the one where everybody was getting stuck in the mud at Isaiah's. But anyway,
Yeah, that
Um,
was in Missouri, Vortex Team Sniper Challenge.
yes, you
Yep.
had this little trailer and it was like, a couple people knew your name. And then when we went to this national championship, you had this massively amazing trailer and you had, how many shirts did I see? I saw so many people wearing your shirts
Oh, that's awesome.
shooting. So, a ton of people out there just promoting it. So it's really been fun to watch your growth because you were really smaller whenever we first saw you. You had a table set up and
Yep.
all that, a vendor table. But now, it's just fun to see your growth and to watch that. It's been really nice. So
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, and you're absolutely right. Then we were operating out of a back of a truck with a table, and we just had our few items and a little tent that they had set up for us. And I remember when we bought the trailer, we about broke the bank just doing that little trailer. And now we're fortunate enough to get a bigger trailer, and we're just set up everywhere. I've hit up a match um, every weekend since I think it was or April. Since April, I've been at a match every single weekend except one weekend. Easter weekend was the only weekend I took off.
that's exhausting. I'm tired just thinking about that.
It's a lot of travel. We even the
Oh,
furthest we went, drove. We went out to Boyd's match in Utah, Price, Utah. We drove out that was 17 hours. I drove to
Ooh,
that
that's
one
a
with the trailer.
drive.
oh,
Yeah,
wow.
that was a rough one, not gonna lie.
Do you take the
And
whole
then the
family
wind
with you?
was my I drove down halfway, went to Camden's place, shot there, hung out there for a couple days to kind of take a break because that's 10 hours away from my house, and then drove the rest of the way. I think it was that match. Yeah. And then went from there. My wife flew in and shot the match, and then she drove back with me. So
That's awesome.
that was nice. She offered to drive my truck and trailer, even though she's never drove with a truck and trailer before. But it was so dang windy. It was fine. Not a big
She is
deal.
a better woman than me because we may or may not have had to rent a U-Haul because of my shopping habit this weekend. But as my husband was backing it into the driveway, I was thinking, I'm so glad that he does this because he just like put it perfectly down the driveway and not in the grass. And I would have been all over the place and breaking sprinkler heads. So
Yep. Yep.
yeah, she's a better woman than me. So, congratulations. As we said earlier, you are the national champion of the NRL22. We just got back from that match. If you've not seen that coverage, it is still on the Facebook and YouTube. Um, both channels have that on there. So, go back and watch some of the footage. We have great footage, everything from amazing shooting to really awesome props to tents flying down range and like everything. So go watch some of the footage, but you came out the winner overall. So tell us a little bit about how you prepared and how you trained for this.
Well, it first started out because I'm trying to make the US team, so I needed to do well. So going into this, I was really, I'll say it, I was scared. I was nervous and scared because I need to do well to be able to make the US team. Even though I already have one win under my belt, I do have a bad score in there, so that kind of hurts. So I went in there like, shoot, I need to be top 10. Ended up looking at my score, and I placed like 38th last year. So I was like, oh, just a huge relief off my back. It's like, okay, I can do better than 38th. So going into it, uh, that mindset just eased me a lot better, knowing that all I have to do is better than 38th. And then what I did leading up to that is I've been busy, obviously, shooting all these matches from center fire to ELR to rim fire. They all recoil differently. And then every Thursday, I go and shoot clays with some friends. So it's just all kinds of different shooting. And leading up to this is like, okay, I got to focus just on 22s, just my 22. I got to focus on it. Well, I ended up getting a new rifle from Voodoo. I ordered it months ago. It's a Bartlett 24-inch 120 straight taper, a Voodoo 360 with the tuner on it because I want to do some experimenting with the tuner. Well, the weekend before it worked out, I had the state championship here in South Dakota. So I practiced up for that. And what I do for practice, not giving away all my secrets, is it's all at 50 yards. That's it. I do some training with some guys, and they just can't believe that all I do is shoot a KYL rack at 50 yards. That's it. A 1/4 inch target, 50 yards. If I can do that off a barricade, we should be fine. So I tried to kind of do what Camden was talking about when I did an interview with her. Just 15, 20 minutes a day, and that's it. Just get out there, get some reps in. And when I say 15, 20 minutes, I don't mean reloading mags, getting on this barricade, then you drag this barricade over, things like that. It is all about just dry fire, dry fire, dry fire. With the Voodoo, you can dry fire it. So I literally went out there for 15 minutes to 20 minutes, depending on the kids, and just dry fired that little 1/4 inch target at 50 yards on that KOL rack. I would just shoot off of this barricade, boom, boom, boom. And I would just put probably 10 dry fires off of this position, break, and then get back on, just trying to experiment what's a better position. And then I go to the next height or the next angle or what have you for a solid 15 minutes. So there it was just dry firing for solid 15 minutes for a full week. With that
Very
new Voodoo.
intentional.
Yeah, exactly. Because I should be able to pull that trigger and that crosshair should still be on that 1/4 inch. So I had the state championship the weekend before to test out this new Voodoo to see how the mags fed, pressing into barricades. It's different when you're at home versus the stress of a match. So the state championship went well, ended up winning that with the new Voodoo, and it fed great. It ran great. It was very good. We had to go out to 300 and some yards. I did well on that stage, so I was like, okay, well, let's bring this to the championship. Why not? So brought a new rifle with a new case of ammo, not lot tested or anything. Had 241 rounds on it going into that into the NRL championship. I went to the zero board and everything lined up perfectly because it was only 6 hours away, so that was nice. And everybody else was saying their data lined up. So I went over there, zeroed real quick. That went well. I only shot one mag to zero. A couple at 50, a couple at 100, and then I shot, what was it, 150, 200, and I think they had a 250, and everything was perfect. So I'm like, okay, let's run it.
That is, I love that this sport is, I mean, people want to make it a gear race a little bit, but, and sorry, I know you sell gear, but I feel like it is very much so the shooter and the preparation in actually practice, not the equipment that you buy. I mean, look at Zane last year, and then this year you had a brand new rifle. Like most people would not go with something that's not, tried and true.
Proven, familiar.
Yeah, right.
That's like some Robert Brantley stuff right there.
Yeah, but I love that this sport is not like, oh, I had my exact whatever. It's that, you really did put the time in behind the trigger and practice and just, honed your skills. It is a skill. So
Yeah, and I do a little bit of training, and like I said, the guys that come here and ask, what are your secrets? I got nothing. I just practice different heights and shoot, aim at a 1/4 inch, dry fire. That's how I save on ammo. Like, don't get me wrong, I'll test it out at range, just confirming what the Kestrel's saying, believing your data, garbage in, garbage out type of deal. But that's it, just 1/4 inch.
I know with, I've just gotten into NRL because I didn't have a 22 until I have one now, but even with PRS, like Phil Vallejo told me one time, like, you don't have to have every prop. It's all about levels. You need to learn to shoot standing. You need to learn to shoot, tabletop. You need to learn to shoot kneeling, sitting, and prone. And then it doesn't matter if it's a tire or, a tank trap or a pole or a cow, what you're shooting off of. It's a matter of what level you're at and that you have practiced that position. And then, getting the gun level. So I think you're on something there for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Comments distracted me there. Give me 1 second. Second monitor flashed off. Shane Scott said, and he tagged him, Zane Herman. I think he meant to refer to him as an ex-champion. He's pretty washed up now, if you ask me.
Hey, he's
Yeah.
washed up from that dunk tank.
For real.
That was his favorite.
All right. So at the championship, there was a lot of awesome things there. But how do you think the course of fire was? Was it easy, hard, tricky, make you think? What were your thoughts on it?
For was it hard or easy? There was parts that were difficult and there was parts that were super easy. I know Carbone and I talked about it. I was hoping for a course fire, but it's really hard to make a course fire fit for everybody. We had
Mhm.
very large scale of shooters there. Um, but I was hoping for an 80 to 90%, maybe 85% win percentage, because like I talked to Carbone about when he won the PRS 22 championship down in Texas, I think he dropped single digits the whole weekend. All of 2 days, he dropped single digits out of the whole match. And we talked about it, and it's like, that's really difficult because think about it. If you have one bad win call and you catch it, but you still drop 3 points, you can't make it up. You can't catch back up. So I thought there was parts that were hard and parts that were easy. What I did really, really enjoy, and I've told this to everybody, is, and I'm sure you guys seen it, how different people approach each stage to even
Mhm.
different squads approaching each stage, like the boat, for example, or the box. How many different ways did you guys see that attempted by even people in the same squad? You know, they see each other, but then it was just crazy hearing the stories Saturday night of how they're attempting this. I'm like, stop talking about it. You're freaking me out. You know,
Dude,
they're like, oh,
it-
you gotta do tripod, you gotta do bipod, you gotta do bag, you might need a double bag. And it's like, holy cow.
And there
that
So
were
I
several
really
stages
stage,
enjoyed
like
that.
that were shot drastically different by different
Yeah.
people.
dude, the
See, and I
boat
like
stage.
that.
I stayed at the boat stage for a while because I was being wimpy and didn't want to have to drag my equipment all over the thing. And Greg was nice and he was moving around letting me post up. And so if you just want to go to the footage, even if you just fast forward and don't like just watch it and fast forward and see the different ways, you're right. There was everything from tripods to bags to sitting to standing. I've never seen a stage have that many different approaches to it. And
Yeah.
I'm like you, I love that the course of fire allowed for that. It wasn't very prescriptive where you had to shoot it a particular.
And part of that was the rules too. It's just, hey, you got what you got. You can use whatever you want. It's not like, oh, no tripods, or they limit you to like tripods need to be collapsed all the way and you can't have it preset. They're like, no, you can set it up, but then when time starts, you got to be in the boat before you can adjust. So hopefully it's close.
Yeah, I
The
mean,
same
there.
thing with other ones too. Like the gates, even the gates, it's just not the boat. The gates, they had a tripod there. Not everybody used the tripod. Some people
Mhm.
use their own tripod. It was just different every time. It was great.
And if you're listening to us on the podcast and don't know what we're talking about the footage, head over to the Shooters Mindset YouTube page or Facebook because we live streamed the entirety of the NRL22 World Championship or National Championships last week. So if you're listening to us and you're like, "What are you talking about?" Blah blah blah. Check it out. There is literally 2 full days of footage up there.
Yeah, my buddy, one of our senior shooters, he watched every minute of it
Nice.
on
Oh
all the
wow.
days. And his wife, because he gave me a call afterwards, and I hear his wife yelling at him in the background, "You should have just went for all the footage you watched."
Golly, that's terrible. He's probably the only man on the planet that's more sick of hearing my voice than my husband.
He thought you guys did an amazing job, so I wanted to give you guys that feedback. He thought you guys did a great job going back and forth. He very much enjoyed it and was attentive for both days. He
Oh,
liked it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We're glad he enjoyed it. And that's what we're doing it for, is just, there's so many people that want to know what matches like this are like. So we figure if we just stream the entire thing to your living room, then you can see it.
Yep. Yep.
and we want
I
people
don't.
to share it so that people that don't shoot can see how not bad the guns are.
Yeah. Yeah. It was. I couldn't believe he said he watched all of 2 days, and he said he's seen me a couple times, and yeah, it was. I couldn't
That's
believe
a
it.
long time. I wouldn't want to listen to my voice for that long.
Yeah. But yeah, the course of fire I thought was really good. Just how people interpret it, even in our squad. You know, I was in a squad. We somehow got all in the same squad. We had a group chat just during that sign up was absolutely insane and stressful. But we ended up getting in the squad together so we could all shoot together in light condition. Excuse me, in light conditions at the same time. So that was really nice. And even for us, the way we interpreted some of the stages, we approached it differently. So I thought that was pretty amazing. And then hearing how my wife shot it because she was in a different squad, and then how other buddies shot it because they were in different squads. So it was pretty cool. My favorite stage though, I I don't know. The boat was really easy after we figured it out, and it was just it took us too long to figure it out because we were talking about doing a tack table for tripod rear. Just put a tack table in the bag, and then you put your bipod on the front. We talked about putting a bipod set up, and then you just shoot off of that, or a tripod setting off of that, or do we just bag it because we can? But then I remembered, oh, I got a triple pole in my backpack that I've been carrying around all week. So we were able to just set up the triple pole and then use that seat as a rear support. So that worked out really well. But I don't know if I have a favorite stage. Like that was a lot of fun because they were all great. Just the mechanics of it, and Carbone does a really good job at that. Carbone and Rook. Just the way they think about it. It's not just oh, here you go, here's your targets. I enjoyed because you had to shoot one here and then you move, and then you shoot that one and then a different one, and then you move, and then you shoot this one and a different one. It was just always something different. It's not your typical troop lines where you go near to far, far to near. So I really, really enjoyed kind of all of it. The least favorite though, definitely that unsupported, even though I did well in it, and I seen I forgot his tag on his YouTube, Womfat or something like that from Canada. Even though he got footage of us all practicing that unsupported area, and I got I think an 8 out of 10. That still is just you're stressing before you get there, and then you get on there, and oh goodness. But
Yeah.
it's just something we don't practice anymore, something that we don't do. We don't have rifles built for that anymore. So it's just a little different, I don't know, different practice now, I guess.
Yeah.
All carrying
How much
22
does your
pound
rifle
rifles.
weigh?
Yeah, 22 pounds.
22 pounds?
Yeah.
And that's like nowadays in competition, that's average weight for a 22.
Yep. Yep.
That's crazy to me. It's so funny you talking about, y'all were trying to like, oh, do a tack table, do this. I kind of feel like sometimes I want to like write on my gun, like the KISS acronym, keep it simple, stupid. Like, because I feel like a lot of people try to overcomplicate it. And like that boat stage, some of the people that did it the easiest went in there with like a fat bag and a front bag, like put a bag down, and then a fat bag and laid out and just did great. Weren't fighting a bipod, weren't fighting a tripod.
Yeah.
And they just kept it simple and just got in and did it. So I think sometimes we don't keep it simple. And I say we, meaning me, because I want to overcomplicate everything and then I regret it.
Yeah, and now that I think about it, that was great, but the one just down the line I did on day one, the one where they had the posts going all the way across, and one guy said it was like 70 yards run or something like that. I don't know what it was, 60 yards. That one I really enjoyed because you not only had to run or walk, I ran from post to post, you had to find the correct targets, and then as you got further away, your targets were getting further away and your wind angle changed. And then you also had to be safe with your rifle, making sure it's because of the new rule that we're kind of unfamiliar with, but they tried to work with, not having your rifle straight up. You know, if it just cants back towards the crowd a little bit, even though your mag is in, but your bolt is back, that would be an unsafe gun there. So just I ran and just suitcase carried it, pointed down range the whole time, I believe is the way I meant to do it. But just that was just another thing in the back of your mind. It's like, okay, need to be safe, need to be safe. You just can't pick up your gun and run. You need to keep it in a safe direction. But I really enjoy those stages that they make you run and your wind angle changes. it just adds another degree to that stage.
That's the only one we didn't get footage of, partly because it was just out of the range of our microphones and internet and all that. And also, we would have had to run behind y'all, I think, to be able to get good footage. And I'm not allowed to run right now, so
I don't think you're allowed to run ever again.
yeah, I've kind of been told I'm not allowed to run.
Yeah, no, I mean, without a helmet or, maybe like a treadmill with a, you've seen the things that they have in the hospitals, a treadmill with like the little above strap thing.
I mean, those big bubble inflatable things that you can like attack each other or roll down the hill. That's what I need to run in. Anyway, we didn't get footage of that one, and I really hate that we didn't, because I know that one had a lot of movement, but it would have been a little more challenging to get some decent footage of it. But yeah, so Ruth and Justin, I have to give kudos where kudos are done.
Yin and yang, peanut butter and jelly, broken down in Ford. They just go together.
They work really well together.
They did such an amazing job at this national championship. Really, and it's partly what Greg just said. They are peanut butter and jelly. They both have strengths that, instead of like two people that are really good at, planting targets, Justin's really good at course of fire and that piece of it, the actual match piece. And Ruth is so amazing at the planning piece and, not forgetting the things that people forget and making sure that the logistics work so well that they just meshed. And it was probably the best run event I've ever been to. So how do you think that we can get all major matches to, and I don't mean this to like diss on match directors, but how do you think we can get the sport as a whole to move towards it being kind of a weekend experience with the amount of kids that were there running around? There's bouncy house. It was more of a weekend event, like hanging out with all of our friends and then, oh yeah, like y'all go shoot some things, versus just a shooting match with a bunch of, all guys and maybe a couple of females sprinkled in and one porta john. But how do you think we can work towards it becoming a family event like this was?
I think they did a great job. They did an amazing job. The whole thing from start to finish, the facilities that they were able to secure, that's a big part of it, having room for everybody and having it at the same location. Because I've been to how many other matches, and you guys as well, that you have your match and then somewhere else, 20 minutes away, 15 minutes away or whatever, that's where you have your gathering, your awards. And yeah, so I think it's great having it all at one location, because people park, they put their rifles away, and then they're all right there. There's not getting lost in between, or people split off and go somewhere else or go do something. I know like last time we had time to go shower and then go to the awards, and then we just made it for the end, and that was it. But it's just having it all in one area is great. By far the best in my opinion. But to make it grow and to keep it that successful, I would try to get someone on, someone to volunteer time to put a list together of everything that was so successful and make that checklist for the next MD. Having that, hey, make sure you got porta potties, enough for everybody. Make sure you got a venue that fits. Yeah, make sure you got a venue that can fit 400 people. Yes, you got 270 shooters, but you still have what, 60 ROs? You have how many families? Is there a place you can rent bounce houses? Is there a area big enough for this or that? I think it would be a huge help to the next MD, just to have that list, that checklist. Hey, it's a week out, email this. Hey, it's 3 weeks out, you need to email this or have this reminder. It just, because constant communication I think is really key. I would rather send you too many emails, but then it keeps you reminded of, hey, we have this going on Friday, we have this going on Friday, this is what time stuff starts on Saturday, just so you can keep your schedule right, making sure you got the Airbnb at the right area or your hotels, so you can kind of plan ahead of time. I think communication is really key. And if you had that list of everything that went well for the next MD, I think that would be huge to keep consistency and the event going for families. It's like, hey, this worked really well. I wish I would have had my family. And then the next one, you bring your family, and they don't have bounce houses. They don't have the area. You're right next to the gunfire the whole time. You don't want your kids running around. Having ideas of that, I think would be great.
I do
And
think Ruth and Justin are, aren't they, don't they have a match directors, like,
so probably at this time, it was probably close to 2 years ago, they released what they called the match director handbook, which is just, important things for running your first big match. And one thing they did mention is that they're gonna, after running this match being the biggest match that they've ever ran, their first 2-day they've ever ran, they're gonna make some major updates for a next revision of the book. And that's something that, because they've had very, very successful matches that they've ran with lots of repeat shooters and just rave reviews. Um, and so instead of, saying, ooh, I'm going to keep my secret sauce to myself so that I can get all the shooters to come to my matches in the future, they say, oh, we have big matches. Let's, share all this information with everybody else so that everybody else can have matches as good as ours.
Yep.
well, and they're shooters. I think it's really important to have shooters running matches because I think they understand the challenges, We
Have you
also
ever shot?
We also said that we're gonna start scoping out all of the shotgun, what do you call them? The shotgun.
Sporting place courses.
Sporting clays courses, because for 22, there's usually enough distance, and that place was amazing, man. Those shotgunners, they have the nice facilities.
Mhm.
Yep.
I mean, think about it. Like, there's money in shotguns. The place where I hold my monthly NRL22 match, we have a little, and it's a fairly small facility in the grand scheme of things. But when they hold shotgun events, all of a sudden, 100 and something trucks with 100 and something aluminum trailers pull up with 100 and something side by sides, half of which have cabs and air conditioning. Some of them come out of the back of toy haulers. I mean, like, there's people that will legitimately pull up in $100,000 motor coach with a $50,000 trailer, pull a $40,000 side by side out of it, and put $100,000 worth of guns in the back of it.
Yeah.
So there's definitely money in that. So we're about at the midpoint of the show. Remember, if you're watching us live on Facebook, sorry, I have a flashing monitor and this is a script here. Come back, come back. Sorry, guys, I'm at my brother's house and not in my normal office. We're about at the midpoint of the show. Remember, if you're watching us live on Facebook, ask any questions you may have in the comment section of the video. We'll ask it live on air. Other ways to catch us, you can always check back on the Shooters Mindset Facebook page. The videos stay up there forever, and we usually upload to all the podcast apps the night after the show. Then finally, everything eventually ends up on the Shooters Mindset YouTube page, so that's a great place to look up past episodes.
True story. Do we have any, before we move on and forget, do we have any lives that we need to read out? I'm not looking at it.
Give me 1 second. Monitor's off again.
Oh, bad co-host.
Shane Scott said that his club in Billings is at a sporting clays course that's perfect for 22. He also said water and ice. That's a really important thing.
Yep.
True story.
Also random thing. If you guys haven't seen over on Athlon Outdoors, I think that's the name of the page. They did like a 5 best shooting ranges in the USA post like yesterday. Totally check that out. It has a lot of awesome ranges in there. Live questions. On Jason's video where he was shooting at 450 yards, what was the scope mount combo to hold on target at 450?
That would be a Razor Gen 3. And
Hell yeah.
They're okay, real quick. Vortex is amazing. I went with them from the beginning because when you go to these matches, who's always on the table? Who's always putting out for these matches?
Who's always supporting the shooter's mindset in their match coverage?
Yeah, that too. Very important. But it's just like sometimes you'll see Leopold. You don't see much of Zico. You sometimes see Night Force out there, but like any match you go to, large or small, Vortex is out there. So
Mhm.
absolutely love Vortex. Their equipment is amazing. I run the Gen 3s on several of my rifles. They've never let me down. So that's why I went with Vortex. Absolutely love them. So thanks for that support. But yeah, that's a Vortex Razor Gen 3, and that's a 40 MOA base on my Voodoo. And that would be a 0 MOA either Hawkins or Gray Ops rings would be for that setup. So the only elevation I had was the 40 MOA, and I can zero my Gen 3, and I think I held over the rest. It's been a little bit before that video, so but yeah, just a Razor Gen 3.
Awesome scope choice. I definitely can dig that.
Yeah, yeah, love it. Oh, I like our live right now. The question to Jason: do you think the JAE was the reason you won nationals? Well, there's only one winner, and there's only one JAE on that course fire. So
Ooh,
MDT JAE G4, yeah, that could be very much the key.
those are like when I first started shooting, the first time I saw one of the OG JAEs, I was just like, oh, what is that? And why
Yeah,
don't I have one?
yeah. Yeah, they are amazing. I've really fell in love. I really like the ACC Elite as well. In the original ACC, I just shot that one last weekend and won a match with that. But the JE is by far my favorite. It just fits so comfortably. Having that barricade stop there, rammer into anything, so the 22s will run no matter what. And then having that adjustability of forward and back and up and down for the Voodoo mags or any mags that you put into it, because I have my centerfire rifles and JEs as well. It's just absolutely love it. And then the way they look too, the paint job that I had done on that looks absolutely amazing. Just a buddy did that here locally. He said he'll never do it again, but then he did 2 more for me. So thank you for that.
So I love your motto on your, so, you know, I was writing the notes today, so I had to do my stalking. And so I looked you up on the PRS profiles, you know, how you can look it up. And I love that your motto on there, because you don't have a lot of information on there. I was looking to see what gear and all. Yeah,
Yeah.
you did not help a sister out there at all. But
Oh, sorry.
anyway, I love your motto because it says supports the sport, shoots the sport, supplies the sport. And I thought that was a great little motto for you to have, since you know, I said before that I feel very strongly that match directors should be shooters. I also feel like if you have a store or, you know, I feel like the vendors that are shooters do better than the vendors that just supply and they don't really shoot. So the fact that you do all of them and you also support the sport, you know, with, you know, being at matches and all of those things, I love it. So how important do you think it is to have shooter owned businesses out there supporting the sport? And then how has it helped you in your business that you are a shooter?
So having all the gear to support the sport, I try to buy once, cry once, and that's what I do for my uh, guys as well. The problem with that is I would love, and I should, being a salesman, sell 2 of everything and 1 of everything to everybody out there, right? But if you look at my site, it is all the high-end gear that I personally own. And that's where it becomes expensive, because every action that I sell, I also own. I have the Terminuses, I have the Voodoos, I had a Remax, I have the Lone Peaks, the Impacts. I own all of it. And then same with the chassis. I own all the chassis, the scopes. I own all the scopes that I sell. I've tried them all out. So then when the guys contact me asking for help or an opinion, well, I've shot how many matches with that exact chassis? I've shot how many matches with that scope or that rifle or whatever. So yes, I don't carry everything on the website, but the things I do carry is the things I run and trust, and that's what you're going to see on the website. So when people ask, hey, do you carry this? Yes, I can get that for you, but I personally don't have any on-hand experience with that item typically. So being able to give that information to all the guys is really important to me, and that's kind of where the motto came from. My wife, I got to thank her. She probably came up with that, to be honest, because that does not sound like me. She came up with that. But yeah, that's where it all started, is just it's all gear I run and trust, and that's what's on the website. And you can see that from the items that are in stock or the items I keep pushing. And when you give me a call, like for Kestrels, for example, I was at a match. I got a call from one of the customers asking for help with their Kestrel, and I just grabbed mine, and then they heard shooting in the background, and then they're like, "You at a match?" I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Well, call me later." I'm like, "No, no, no, it's not a big deal. Here, it's someone else's spot."
Call me
But
later.
yeah, no, and then same thing, I'll have supper, they'll give me a call, and I'll run downstairs, grab my Kestrel, and we'll go through it screen by screen. So that's just the experience. And like you asked, is it important that you have someone in the business using it? Oh yeah, absolutely. Because then you can get an honest opinion. If you need help, they're the ones that have that firsthand experience to give you that help.
It's so funny.
Oh
People
shoot,
will go,
that's cool. Sorry, I'm shopping. I'm over on Nedved Precision Shooting. You got the whole kit. Like, you know how you always see people that have you got your rangefinder and your binos, your spot and scope and your binos on the top of your tripod. You just have like a whole kit to get all that all in one instead of like, that's cool. Sorry. Anyway, go back to y'all's conversation. My bad.
Yeah, I've been trying to update the website and keep up to date. And like you said, even the trailer, going to all the matches, and some people don't even know we have a website. So yeah, thanks for bringing that up.
And
well,
it
again,
is nedvedprecisionshooting.com.
Yeah.
that's right.
Yep.
Again, that's having a shooter that does it. It's so funny whenever there's somebody that, is a friend maybe, and they have shot some guns, but they don't do competition, and like we'll be out shopping or whatever, and at Cabela's, they'll be like, oh, yeah, they have, what about this? And I'm like, or anywhere. And it's just because it's not meant for our application of what we do. But yeah, it's funny. In fact, one day there was somebody's like, well, what gun do you shoot? I'm like, well, it's custom. Like, I think all of our guns are mutts, not many, unless you shoot factory, are just like, oh, I shoot a this. It's, this action and this stock and this barrel. And
Yep.
it's just funny.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. You have your own target that's your logo.
Yeah. It used to be really popular. I pushed it out quite a bit. It's not as popular anymore because of all the holes. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. People
Oh,
would
it looks evil. I love it. My
yeah, I'd get messages all the time like you couldn't make the holes a little smaller. I didn't
so
design it. I called a guy.
one of my favorite targets that I have for my NRL22 match. It's a roughly 2.5 inch target, but it is a circle with an X. So it looks like, kind of like your reticle through your scope.
Oh,
And man, are those holes in the corners huge.
yep.
It's, if you're aiming center, you're looking maybe 3/8 of an inch at the center of the X. And then, if you go left, right, up, or down, you got a big open space there. So it's really cool. So this is kind of a good transition into our next question. We've kind of touched on a little bit, but what kind of items do you stock at Nedved Precision Shooting? So we talked about the website, nedvedprecisionshooting.com. IPRF pre-orders. That's cool. Tell us what that does.
Oh, so with that one, we ended up getting hooked up when I was staying at Camden's house. Talked to her mom, lovely lady. Always has snacks. Uh, they're for me and Camden, by the way, and Paul. So yeah. We were talking about they're helping the event over at the US or not the US, the Worlds for Centerfire is going to be over at Cameo. So we got set up and sponsored a booth over there. So we're going to bring the trailer all the way out there. But with that, we sent out an email to all the competitors going out to that match, traveling from all the different countries, that can't get certain items, or the taxes or whatever, imports, customs, who knows what, right? So they can come here, they can order on my website and have it either shipped to Cameo, or I'll just throw it in the trailer, put it in a box, put their name on it, so then they can pick it up there. Or if they want it shipped and get it there earlier, or if they're coming to the US earlier, they can get that. So we have a little discount code for them, and we'll bring it there so they can have it and use it, and we'll be there early. So as soon as they show up, I'll be there with their packages and be able to get it to them.
Shoot. And so this isn't secret information. I found it on the internet. It is so free shipping because it'll be delivered to Cameo, and there's a discount code for 10% off of your order. It doesn't include ammo and actions. So if you're going to be at Worlds and you need something, you better check it out. And there's a lot of cool stuff on this website. So we've kind of talked about what you sell. What are some of your hottest selling products that you've had here recently?
It comes in waves, and obviously the Garmin C1, that one was a hot one during the winter. But we sell a lot of MDT items. I say would be the hottest items, and we try to keep those items in stock. I know if you go to MDT's website, some of their items might be out of stock, and then you come to us little shops, we might have those interior weights or those dampeners or the chassis itself in stock. And obviously I appreciate the support when people place those orders. But it just kind of comes and goes in waves. A lot of the gray ops stuff, once they release that, but that's a lot of the homework I need to do. I need to know what is new and upcoming before it comes out. So like Friday, we have some more items coming out that hasn't been released. So it's me getting those items, testing them, getting videos, and doing the PR part of it, and then getting it on the website as soon as they release it. So I'm another outlet for them to get those items right away. And then of course we try to ship within those 24 hours to get that. Because you guys are shooters, you understand. When you want your gear, you want it now.
Well, so that's Amazon's fault. Like,
right. Oh
it
gosh,
used to
it's
be
horrible.
like, oh, I'm ordering this off of the internet. I can't plan on it for a week and a half. But now it's like, I'm ordering this off the internet. What do you mean it's not going to be here before lunch tomorrow?
Yeah, we want Brown Santa to come like right now.
Yep. I try, and we do get a lot of comments, and a lot of our reviews are fast shipping. Absolutely love that. That's a great reputation, because when we spend $700 on a tripod, we want it now.
Yes,
And we get messages saying on Tuesday or Wednesday, hey, I got a match this weekend. Is there any way I can get it? And I'm like, well, I'll ship it out tomorrow morning. Or if it's UPS, if it's before 5 o'clock and you message me, yeah, I'll run out there and get it packed up and shipped as long as I got time, or I'm at home. So yeah, I try to take care of the guys.
That's good. That goes a long way. Like nowadays, if you see something where like the expected delivery time is over a week, unless it's something custom made, it's just like, I don't know. Or if I order something and I don't get a shipping confirmation within 24 hours during the week, I'm just like, oh, like what is this? Like,
Yep.
I mean, I know it's a lot to ask, but like the world is spoiled. I have Amazon, so like, getting stuff shipped out and moved along so fast is really, really good to hear.
Dude, I remember when Amazon was overnight though. Now it's 2 days.
Yeah, and the
Not for
Rona
me.
killed that.
2 business days.
Not where I
So
live.
holiday. Why is the balloon going everywhere?
How'd you do that?
I don't know.
I think she did peace or something. I don't know. So
Yep, there goes.
our poor podcast viewer or podcast listeners have no idea what we're talking about, but we just all collectively learned if you do a peace sign on Zoom, you get a bunch of really cool balloons coming up. Oh, this is so awesome.
But yeah, some of the other things we do that's not listed on the website, and maybe it is under gun services. I've had several people reach out and say, hey, I just want something that's going to work. Build it. So I'll put together a voodoo, and I'll get the chassis, I'll get the scope, I'll get the rings, I'll get everything set up for them. And then there's even an area where I can sight in. Obviously, I got a range in the backyard. I'll set it in for them completely. And then I'm an FFL, so then I ship it to their FFL. We're all good to go. And I
That's
had
awesome.
one guy say, "Hey, just make it work. What would you do within reason? You know, budget wise. What would you do? Build that." So I built it, set it in. He shipped it to him. He got it Thursday. He said he got a match that weekend. So yeah, you should be good. Here's the ammo. Here's everything. Uh, he sent me a picture Saturday night with a trophy and some cash. He ended up getting first with that rifle. I'm like,
No way.
oh, there we
That's
go.
awesome.
Yeah, he won by like 1 or 2 impacts. It was just a local match, but still, you get this and you just want it to work. You don't want to have any fits. You just want it done. You know, that's something that we do. You reach out, you ask, and sometimes I have all of those things in stock. Like right now, I have a Voodoo, the same exact Voodoo I won the championship with. I have in stock, but it's in stainless. You know, so things like that. You give me a call and you want it set it up completely, we can get that done.
That's crazy. Kind of
So-
along the same line, and then we'll get, I'm kind of jumping to the next question, but it goes with this. Like you also, in that trailer that you pull to matches, I mean, you can sell things out of it, but like you have like a whole workbench in there. So like if I break my gun, because I'm good at breaking things, like I broke a trigger pin in a Glock, who does that? Broke my finger. Like if I broke my gun in the middle of a match, could I maybe fix it on your workbench?
Yeah, we have all the tools. Like we had people and I offered it. It's not just for friends, you know, everybody's friends when you're at a match, right? We're all trustworthy. I have my kids running around. They're just around, you know, you can trust the guys. Like the OBI stuff, and yeah, you can bring your rifle in there if you need to switch things out or whatever. I said, hey, I have the tools right here. If you want to put that OBI stuff on your pack right now, go for it. You know, it's all right here. You know, if I'm busy, obviously here's the tools, but if I'm not busy, I was doing it for several guys there. Yeah,
Awesome.
I've had people have trigger failures, so we just punch it out, punch another one in. We have all those items there, and it's not like I'm going to charge you to use my stuff. You know, I'm just thankful for the sale, and hopefully next time you need something, you think of me. So that's, yeah, absolutely. We have that bench in there, and it gets used many of times. We got the gun vise in there as well. But I can sell everything, but I cannot sell firearms at a match. It has to go to the local FFL.
That makes sense.
Yep.
So kind of back on that trailer matches on your website, you have a match calendar that shows every place you're going to be. Let's say that I want something from you and you're coming to, and I don't know the answer to this, and I don't know if I'm like putting you on the spot here, but like, let's say that I want to buy a chassis, but like shipping sucks, like that's big, but like you're going to be at a match with me in a week.
Yep.
Can I like hit you up and be like, hey, homie, you throw this on the trailer?
Yeah, so yeah, exactly. So that little chat thing in the bottom right of the website, you can click that and that will message straight to my phone, and I try to
Really?
respond as quick as I can. Oh yeah.
Oh,
So
you
I'll
should
try
have
to
told
Hi.
us that, man.
It's Greg.
Yep.
How
So
are you?
I'll have
Question
guys,
mark.
yeah, exactly. Hey, if I order this, can I get that shipped, or when will it ship, or can you bring it to a match? And we have a local pickup option. And yeah, I make sure it's in the trailer. I've already had people contact me for this weekend. Hey, do you have the ace brake? I said, yep, I do. And hey, can you bring it to the match? Yeah, I got it. Hi, Greg, how are you?
That was really fast. That was like literally 2.5 seconds and his phone dinged. So
Yep.
I had to
Yeah.
test
So
them.
yep. So anyway, like people message me, hey, I'm going to be at this match. I see you might be there, or are you going to be there? Can you bring this? Absolutely. And so they will place the order on the website, because then that will reserve it, and it has notes in there. I'll put it in a box, slap their name on it, and then it just stays there. It's already reserved. It's already taken care of. We had a lot of guys do that with the Rifle Guardians at the championship, because we were forecasted to rain all day Friday and Saturday. So people wanted their Rifle Guardians. They didn't bring them. So they went on the website, said, hey, I'll be at the match, and they reserved it. So then they can get there when they get there and pick it up. They don't have to worry about, oh, shoot, they're sold out. Because we were sold out that morning, by 10 a.m.? We were completely gone. They were out.
Wow.
Wow, that went fast.
That's crazy. Now you can't even block Greg now if he's like texting you too much and you're like irritated. You can't even block his number because now you can just do it through the web. I'm just kidding.
Yep, yep. And then my wife will respond if I'm at a match or something like that. She'll try to help out. I do appreciate that. Just to try to help that customer service. And apparently, what my wife learned at the match is people think we're a lot bigger than we are, but it's just me running this, and then she helps out when she can because she still has a full-time job. I was able to quit last October, so I've been trying to do this full time, and some days, like I said, are better than others, and you'll have 2, 3 days without a single order, and it hurts like right in the feelers. It hurts. But then you have other days that it's like, oh, thanks, guys. Like today I was talking to Shane that's making all these comments, and it's like, oh, yes, I sold a chassis today. It's like, oh, thank God. Sold something. So it's really nice.
Hey, Greg, you're like the IT department of the Shears Mindset. So I'm gonna ask you this. Somebody sent us a message and it had a pretty cool graphic. But I wish it was in the comments and not in the messenger. But it's like he took a graph and like the orange bars, it's a bar graph. I do data for work. I'm a nurse, but I do a lot of data and I love graphs. It's a graph of like all the stages, and the orange is how Jason did, and the blue is like the average of all the other shooters. And it's actually kind of impressive.
Where's that at?
I think it's in the Shears Mindset.
Oh, wow.
Can you make that be visible?
Yep.
You're the IT
Yep. Hold on.
Yeah.
I want to see this.
I know, that's why I was like, oh, we need to get this out, but I'm not sure the best way to do it. So
This person is nerdier than you, Jennifer. I
I
love
don't know
this.
about that because I kind of love that graph. That's amazing.
Whoever did it, thank you.
I love your graph. It can, come to
All
work.
right. Share screen. Google Chrome.
Yeah, I think day 1 I dropped 5 points, and then
Look at
day
that.
2 I dropped 12.
So on this, Jason is the orange. Dude, look how many you cleaned. Man, I'm so jealous.
You shot really good.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like you won or something.
Damn,
5
stage 17
impacts.
ate your lunch though.
Dude, that was the box one, and I think someone commented on how would you redo that one? Max
Yes. Yes. Answer that question now. Kind of explain and answer
Okay,
that question now
so
while we're looking at that.
we had a long conversation about that one, and how to do it. What I did, my strat was to shoot the larger one and just secure points. I had to mentally get myself ready because I was talking to Paul Dallin at a match, and he asked how many did you drop, and I said I have no idea. I know how many I hit, and he's like, that's way too many to count. And I'm like, oh, I should step up my level here. So I always write down how many I hit, and then in a small font, I'll write down how many I missed. And I already was mentally prepared. Hey, let's just get a 7, and then yes, we're gonna have to write down a 3 that we dropped 3, but let's just secure our 7 because a lot of the other guys in my squad were struggling to hit that, and you couldn't tell which side it was missing on. But that wind really picked up because I think that target was 7/10 wide, and I was still doing a good job missing it off the right. But the wind when we shot it, and my whole squad will vouch for it, it was anywhere between I think it was 6 to 7 tenths left to 2 tenths right. So it was larger. Your wind bracket was larger than the state or the target itself, the large target. So right there, doing the math on that, I knew that small target was out of play. So to answer how to shoot that, or if I were to do it again, I would do the same thing because you had to do 9 different positions, 9 or 10 different positions. I would do the Gray Ops Pro Plate on the Arca rail, obviously, and then do the Pro Pad underneath it, the heavy Pro Pad, obviously both on my website. And I would just put that as close to the magwell as you can, just to go in because you didn't have room for a tripod. You couldn't just do tripod rear with that bag, and just go as quick as you could with the large target. And then when you go left-handed, obviously we're a little slower on our weak side. That's why it's weak side. Then you could take more time to shoot those and secure those 3 points as well. I believe it was 3 that you had to go weak side. But that's what I tried to do. But every time I would shoot, it would hit that steel differently. I think I always dial my wind. I rolled, I think, 3/10 left, and I was anywhere between holding off plate left to having to hold right side because I would see that impact. And that's a big thing. And thank God I have a Razor Gen 3. You can see those little pills going through the air and see where those are impacting, on the plate or off the plate. And if you're not sure where you hit and you hit though, just do the same shot. If you think, just nope, you need to be sure. So just aim for the same spot again and hope for the best. But yeah, that one did eat my lunch.
Yeah, but besides for that, I mean, clean, clean, clean. Dropped two, I guess. Clean, 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 clean. Dropped one. Dropped three. Dropped one. Clean. Dropped one. Stage 17. We're not going to talk about that.
Yeah.
Dropped one. Clean. Dropped one. Dropped two. Clean. Like that's an impressive match, especially out of 22 stages.
Thank you.
And thank you, Max, for sending this over to kind of give us a visual on how awesome Jason shot in this match.
Yeah, thanks for that. That was really cool. One thing, another kind of tidbit hint of how it was so successful. I know if you guys have talked about it on your podcast before. And I know I've talked to many of shooters before. The big thing about being this successful is it's mindset. Just like what your podcast says, it's all about mindset.
Ooh.
I didn't focus on how the other guys were doing in my squad. I didn't focus on how I did on the last stage or what the next stage is. When everybody was looking at their match book the night before and figuring out where they started and what the stages look like, what the max distance is, I didn't look at any of that. I wanted to go there and focus on that one stage, and that was it. I focused on that stage. I shot that stage. I went and reloaded my mag, wrote down my score, and moved on to the next one. That was it. I didn't pay attention to how the other guy shot it. Maybe kind of like if they use tripod rear or whatever, but not what their scores were. I didn't keep track of any of that. So
That's
it was
always
just
my
all mindset.
mindset too, but I don't win.
And it's not like, hey, we need to celebrate this win. Absolutely. I absolutely loved it. I shot an ELR match that was so boring compared to this PRS style, NRL style shooting. I lay down, I shoot 4 rounds because I had four impacts, and then you go back and sit down and wait till the next time you go shoot. This, you have the target sequence. You have to be in certain positions at certain times shooting this target. When you clean that, you're excited. That was a lot of work. But you didn't have time for it. All right, cool. One more down. What's up next? What do we got?
Before we forget, Heather Moon asked, can you ship to Canada?
We've tried before, but because of customs and all that and how much it costs you guys to get it there, it's really difficult to figure out the cost of that. So we kind of lost our butt when we did ship to Canada, so we don't do that anymore, sadly. Not yet. We need to do a lot more research before we start doing that.
Yeah, that's complicated. I think you're on mute, Greg.
Yeah, I am. I'm getting queued back up. So what do you think are the best things we can do to help grow our sport?
I think we need to separate or try to separate the pros versus the newer shooters. Because I know sometimes locally when I go to a match, and I go and dang near clean the course of fire, that really disheartens other shooters, apparently, according to some match directors. But I'm there to get the points. I need the points. I'm chasing the points. Like I said, I want to go for worlds, so I need the points. But if you had a league out there that was skill based, kind of like the PRO Outlaws, you guys interviewed Shane. That's skill based. So I'm going against these shooters. The next tier are going against these shooters. They're trying to get up to me and us up at the pro status, but you have my wife in, well, it's C class, and she's like, I'm gonna win that C class trophy. She's gunning for that. She doesn't care how I shoot. She's been with me too long. She doesn't care. She wants to be the top of the C class because there is no ladies, there is no youth or anything, because we've had issues with, you know, what, 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds growing better beards than I can grow, and they're winning youth, you know, and it's like, holy cow, that hurts the other youth that's 12, 14 years old that are still getting help dialing. And I think there just needs to be a little bit more separation. My wife and I, we've had many of conversations of what's the best way to do that, but it can be a little political, but it's just difficult. You know, you need a lot of volunteers, you need time, just need getting those people in place. But if you had a series that was completely free for newer shooters, then that's no championship, no points, no nothing. There would be no motivation for me to show up other than to help out new shooters or try something different, try something new. But you could just go there, help new shooters. It's not for points, it's not for anything. They go out, have a good time. We go out, have a good time. You have a little trophy for them. Cool. Here you go, $5-10 for a match fee. And then you need to have a series for your series shooters. So if they graduate from that and they want to shoot and see how they compare to other people in the country, then you can have that option, like what we've shot, the NRL22X matches, the PRS22 matches. Just having the separation, I think, would be really good. So those new shooters can get some impacts, have a good time, have a good course of fire, and then not just get stomped every time because I come over trying to get points.
We have a great local match, and if you show up, I'm going to lock you in the Porta John.
Yeah, see, and I got to get rid of my nervous pee right away in the morning, so you know I'll be there.
Yeah, I'll be like, as soon as he goes in, we will like saran wrap that thing shut.
But
park a vehicle in front of it, whatever.
But listen, the good news is the Porta John on my match, it's always, minty fresh. So it's not going to be a horrible day for you. It might get hot in there because, Georgia.
I like saunas. It's fine.
Yeah, it'll be a sauna. It'll be kind of minty flavor. It seems they always clean that bad boy like the day before my matches. And, when you have my matches. Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Hey, at least
I'd love to go to Georgia and shoot.
At least I just said I'm gonna lock you in the Porta John and not like Nancy Kerrigan or something.
Yeah.
So where do you see precision shooting in 5 years from now?
For rimfire, I think it's still growing. I know 5 years ago, it was barely a thing. But I think it is still growing, and it is still growing fast. You just got to look what we just had a match 2 weekends ago that had 270 shooters, and I'm sure they could have had more if they wanted it, or if they had the room.
That match not only had a wait list, it had a wait list for ROs.
Yeah.
Like, what does that say about your match directors that you have that many people that want to donate 3, 4, pretty much 4 days to help run the match?
Yeah, that's amazing. And then the support they got from the ROs that lived closer, even. I heard that some of them lived close and were able to run out there and be eyes on it. And, that's where they stayed, at friends' houses. That's amazing support. And that just shows what kind of community this precision shooting is. It seems like everybody's like that. Like I said, I've been at matches in a completely different state, never been to that area before. And I have my 6-year-old daughter running around, and she's completely fine. She's been to a match before. She knows. I'm not worried about anything going on. She knows where the camper's at. She knows where I'm going to be. And yeah, we did have to go find her with the drone, and she was playing with stacking clay pigeons up. And we went and flew the drone over her, and she got scared and just went running, beelining it for me like 8 stages away. And we followed her the whole way. We were laughing. She was not.
That's hilarious. The first match that my husband went to with me, he got out and he's like, oh, did I lock the car? And I'm like, we don't lock the car at matches. And he's like, well, what if somebody, I'm like, dude, that's an $8,000 rifle, and I'm putting it down and walking away from it, not to mention my gear. Like, people here are honest and watch out for each other and all that.
And with you go to centerfire matches, they have backup rifles just sitting in their vehicles. And I don't know how many people lock their vehicles. It's not like I'm going around testing, but it's like, yeah, got another rifle.
One of the very first matches I ever went to, there were like 3 people that were trying to sell rifles. And by doing that, they sat them on their tailgate in the parking lot with a sign that's like, GA build, Manners stock, Vortex scope, $9,000. Call Jim at blah 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 blah. And I'm like,
Really?
this is crazy. It is kind of cool with my firearm insurance policy. I'm not trying to sound like a commercial here, but with gun and trophy insurance, I don't have to lock my truck at a range for it to be covered. If I'm at a firearms event and my vehicle's unlocked and my stuff gets stolen, it's still covered. Just
You're
random
covered.
cool thing there.
That is true. So what we talked about PRS and some different ones. What is your favorite genre to shoot? I know you do NRL, PRS, you said ELR, you do tactical matches or sniper matches because we met you at one of those. So like what,
And
and you
hunter
said
style.
shotgun. So
Yep.
what is your favorite, like if you could only shoot one for the rest of your life, what would it be?
I laugh because my wife asked that question too. If you had to tone it down and only shoot one, what would it be? It would definitely be my 22. Uh, those matches, like I said, the course of fire, they're a lot of fun. It challenges you being on the different barricades at different times, shooting different targets at different ranges. And even when you bring up that you're shooting a 22 at, like someone said, 450 yards, everybody's like a 22 LR, like the Ruger 1022. I'm like, well, the same round, but not a Ruger 1022. But yeah, that would definitely be the one. Uh, but she knows I can't give up all of it. For right now, yes, I'm pushing hard for the worlds, so I like to focus on 22s. But it's a nice break shooting clays on Thursdays. It's a nice break shooting ELR. Yeah, it's cool shooting 2,200 yards, but I'm going to take a break from that. I just want to focus on 22s right now. Center fire is a lot of fun. It's really comparable. That's why I picked up a 22 is to get better at center fire. But now, just even you guys, I'm sure have noticed the attitude of everybody at a 22 match versus the attitude at a center fire match. It's a little different. It's a little bit more relaxed at a rimfire match for sure.
A little more laid
Don't get me
back.
wrong, it's same people, but it's just more relaxed environment for sure.
That's because you don't have to put in earplugs and earmuffs and get a little bit of that tinnitus going on. Like you
Yeah,
could
and
just
have to
talk
have
like
binos to
normal.
see your targets 800 yards away or in this bunch of trees. No, it's all 200 yards and in. It's all right there. You can see it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It is super chill. Um, so we got something here. So you do a lot of different videos over on your channel.
Oh, yep.
Uh,
Yep. We got a YouTube
um,
channel as well.
mhm. And then you also do stuff with like the monthly course of fire as well, right?
Yep, I got a lot of comments of that at the championship of when I'm going to post another one. Well, first I was very busy just shooting a lot of matches, making sure I can get orders out. You guys are keeping me busy. Thank you for that. And then um, getting that course of fire set up and getting that shot is a lot of fun. It gets me practiced up doing actual course of fire instead of me dry firing at 50 yards. Uh, but it's really time consuming getting the video equipment out. I'm going to be doing a lot better with that now. That championship is over, so that will hopefully start getting going again. But when I got back from the championship, my targets were all underwater. You couldn't even see the tops of them. So
Oh,
all
no.
that water and that rain just about got up to our house. As you guys, some of you watching and listening, you've seen my YouTube videos. You see my range in the backyard. I had water past my 50-yard target. My 50-yard target was underwater. It was coming up to the house. So in the 100-yard target, that diamond that sits at the top of a T-post, that was you couldn't see the top of the T-post. That was underwater. So it was taller, deeper than that. So I gotta wait
That's
for the water level to go down before I get out there again to record some courses of fire. But yeah, those are our popular videos. Is the NRL22 course of fire of just how I approach it. I do it in I don't reshoot it if I miss a shot or whatever. You learn from those. You learn what happened, what went wrong, and then you relay that to your audience. I think people like just seeing a different view of it. I like inviting my wife when she has time to come shoot it. Gets her practiced up as well. But then our viewers get to see not only how I shoot it, they see how she shoots it or how she approaches it with completely different gear. You know, her rifle weighs 12 pounds. I put her, she wanted a light build, so got her a Voodoo MTU and then put that in a Hunt 26 chassis. She absolutely loves it, and a lot of people were touching it and feeling it and loving it. But it's just something a little different because, like you guys said, our average is what, 22 pounds. So hers is just, she got tired of carrying that heavy rifle, so she wanted a light one.
I
She
was mad jealous when I saw her rifle. Like
I
I
know where you
like
can
a heavy
get one,
rifle,
Greg.
but I was just like, man, I need one of those.
Yep.
Ugh.
Yeah, she pushed me for a while to build that for her, and I think 3-4 months later, I finally got the parts to get it all put together for her. Just not because the parts were unavailable. It's just I didn't want to build her a rifle. She already had a rifle. She wanted a rifle.
But remember the correct number of rifles for you to own is N+1.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's always,
And
you always need N+1 rifles.
I've wanted a Voodoo for so long. One day, I'm gonna have one day.
Hey, I know a website you can go to buy one.
I know.
Yeah, we have them in stock. No,
I
they,
know.
they for me it is. That's what I tell the guys that call. What's a rifle that's not going to throw fits? It's just going to work. If I'm spending that kind of money, it just needs to work. You want a Voodoo. It's just going to work, and it's going to be accurate. No matter what ammo, Lapua ammo you put through it, SK Lapua, it's just going to work. You'll be fine.
So when do you feel that so here's your question. Do you make your course of fire videos before or after you actually shoot the match?
We don't have a lot of clubs anymore that shoot NRL22, so I try to get it out there as quick as possible. So as soon as that's released, I used to set it up the couple days after it's been released, and then I'll shoot it in the backyard and record it. There is no, I'm going to practice it, I'm going to go shoot it. No, I practice it in the backyard and go.
So do you feel that taking the time to analyze a particular course of fire, whether you're shooting that course of fire or not, but taking the time to truly think about it to produce a video helps make you a better shooter?
Yeah, I think just getting that practice, analyzing it, and then relaying that out loud to your viewers, I think it does help because you're thinking about it different. You're not just, oh, I missed that target, and then you move on with life. No, it's how would I approach this? And you talk about it, and then you have the comments that, people got to chime in, which I absolutely love them, good or bad. But it's just, I think it does help because you're just talking about it out loud to yourself, but it's to the viewers, but you just think about it differently. I think it does
Yeah,
help.
I fully agree with that with everything. When you're helping other people do something, that's one of the best ways to learn more about it yourself. Um, I'm that same way at work when I'm teaching a young engineer how to do something. Like I talk through and they may ask one little question of, well, why this? And I'm like, well, I don't know. That's the way the old guy told me to do it when I learned how to do it. And then, you kind of go into it a little bit more, or just, thinking about the best way to explain something. And, then you realize you're having an epiphany yourself that like, I don't know why I do it like that. I just do, but you're on the spot. You've got to explain it. So, your brain has to rack around. Why do I want to have my elbow touching my knee here? Why do I want to not use my tripod on this part of the stage, but do want to use it on this part of the stage? And it makes you really, really think about stuff.
Yep, and we talk about all those things, why I do this versus that on the videos, and I think that's what why I get the viewers that I do is they just like they don't have that opportunity to go out to their own range and do it, so they can watch me do it and be more prepared for when they go shoot the course fire.
Listen, I can't tell you. So you're like Johnny on the spot there, like, oh, course of fire comes out. Let me download it. Let me set it up. Let me do it. I'm the match director. Like, I'll print it on Thursday, throw it straight in my backpack. Friday, I'll go out to the range. I'll look at the stage setup. I'll set up the stage with the picture. Saturday morning, like when I'm shooting the stage, is when I'm truly analyzing what's going on there. the amount of shooters that I had come up and they're like, well, I was watching Jason's video and he said that you know, a good way to do it is like this, but your stage is set up slightly different than the way Jason set his up.
That's
And
awesome. I appreciate that.
I cannot tell you how many times that happened. I'm like, I'm sorry, my tank trap is 8 degrees off from the way Jason's was set up.
And me, I just drag it over. Here we go.
But just know, all of us match directors, we gotta set it up as good as you do.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, like I said, there's only one club here, and when I loved making it to his club, I love supporting him. He's a good match director, but I try to make it to his. On the way there or in the vehicle, I'll have to watch what I did so then I'm more familiar with the course of fire. So I'll rewatch my own video of how I shot it so I know what to do when I get there.
Oh, that's too funny.
I'm gonna start cheating. Whenever I finally can get this hand back to where I can shoot and I come to a match, I'm just gonna watch Jason's video and then shoot stage.
Yeah.
The next stage and watch it and shoot it.
That's what I do.
He watches his own videos.
Now I know the secret. All right, so
Yep.
what are your goals? I feel like I know the answer to this because I feel like
Yep.
it's maybe gonna be something that starts with an I and ends with an F. But what are your goals for the PRS season, which is mid-season now, I believe, and the NRL season, which will be starting, and then any other goals?
So first with the PRS, I have a few more matches I need to get. I would like to go there with a perfect score, like I did with the NRL, and I did that with PRS last year. I went in with a perfect score, so I'd like to really push and get that again. I've always wanted a golden bullet, and now they have those for the rimfire as well. So I'd love to get a golden bullet in the PRS. Love to get a golden bullet. That would mean so much. So that's my goal for the PRS. And then for NRL next year, we're going to see what I need to do because the main goal, as you're alluding to, is make it to Worlds. So it's going to be a really big focus on that. And if I need to shoot more matches for a certain series to get the points, then that's what I'm going to do. I'm flying out to Idaho, Parma, for another qualifier to get a better score for my USPRA scores. So it's really a lot. It's a quite a money investment and a time investment and away from family investment to get all these matches flying to this because it's a 1 day match. You got to think I'm flying all the way over there because I'm not driving 20 hours. I already looked to get to that match and shoot a 1 day match and then fly back. That's an investment.
A lot of people were asking on the live feed. So the national championship was a qualifier for the IPRF Worlds. And for anybody that is not aware of what we're talking about, the IPRF is the International Precision Rifle Federation, and they have worlds every year, but rimfire is every other and centerfire is every other. So 1 year is rimfire, then it's centerfire. So this year, 2024 is centerfire in Cameo. Next year's in 2025 will be rimfire, and it's been announced, right?
Yep.
Okay. I was like, oh wait, am I not allowed to say it? Yeah, it'll be in Great Britain.
Yep.
In 2025. And so that's what Jason is working towards, is qualifying for that.
Yep. So I'm just shooting the matches. Getting the golden bullet is the next goal. I'd love to get a golden bullet, and then that goes towards that's another qualifying match. So doing well at that will obviously help my score for making it to Worlds.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think you can do it looking at that graph that Max did.
It's just getting the right mindset.
That's right. You just gotta not care, not read the match book till the day of. I'm telling you, there's a lot of people that are like in their match book and they're like, hey, like on stage 14, how are you gonna do whatever? I'm like, I don't know, I haven't read it yet. If I read a whole match book, I get overwhelmed. I do better to like get to the stage, actually see it. I guess because I'm a visual learner.
I mean, let's go back to Worlds last year of how many hours with a ladder outside of the Airbnb?
Well, that worked out well for them, actually. So
I mean, you know, America.
Right.
But there was one stage that was, I mean, it was a super time crunch, and we were staying in an Airbnb with like the world's most amazing people, and a lot of them.
20 people there, yeah.
Wow. But there somebody found a ladder in there because it was a ladder stage, and I forgot what it was, but it was something like
It's like
shoot up the
prone
ladder,
on
shoot
one-
down.
Prone on one side of the ladder, 4 rungs of the ladder, and then prone on the other side.
Yeah, I think that something like that. And everyone was like, "What is this nonsense? This is so fast." And they were practicing and practicing and practicing like all night. The day before they shot that stage, it was wild.
Yeah.
But they did good.
Heck yeah,
All
they
right,
did.
are we caught up on live comments?
I believe so. Jerry Gore did comment and said that I do run a great match out at Kentucky and I feed you, which is true. So if that's what I need to do. I need to put up registration for that match. But look at Kentucky NRL22 if you're in Georgia and want some good barbecue and to shoot guns.
Hey, and if you're ever down here, Jason, you and the wife can stay here. We have, like, my kids are gone now, like they're married and stuff. So yeah, well, one of them is. They're all moved out though, so we have extra bedrooms. So all right, well, I think we can wind it down to shout outs. We'll start with Greg.
Oh, throw me on the spot. I don't have my list. Well, we talked about Vortex before, about how they make awesome glass and how they always support matches and how they always support the Shooter's Mindset in all of our live streams. They're the official target cam of the Shooter's Mindset. All of our target shots are shot through Vortex razors of one form or another. At the last match, it was the Vortex Razor HD spotting scope. So big shout out to them. Shout out to PDC Custom for always keep me stocked with my prettiest lime green rifle chassis. And Hunter's HD Gold for helping my blind self see things.
Awesome. Jason, how about you?
Yeah, obviously Vortex. They help me out with some optics that I need in a reasonable way. And then MDT, they support me as well. They did a nice little post for me. And then Voodoo, obviously, I'm on the Voodoo team. You see the pictures of me in the Voodoo jersey. I am very happy and proud to be wearing that jersey. Love shooting my Voodoo. And it's really nice running equipment that I believe in. And then those guys supporting me doing that. So that's pretty amazing for those guys.
That is awesome. And for me, I just want to shout out the Trombergs, who were amazing in Wisconsin. We were in Wisconsin, right? We flew into Minnesota, and then I was so confused while we were up there. But wherever we were, they let us stay at their house, and they were amazing. So this is Mitch's parents let us stay there, and I want to thank them so much for all of their hospitality because it was great. And then also want to thank Vortex, Ampanealing, and Gun and Trophy Insurance, who kind of helped us with covering some expenses to get there and be able to do the coverage. So I want to shout them out for that. And with that, I think that will be a wrap for episode 444 of the Shooter's Mindset, and we will catch everybody next time.
Thanks, everyone.